We should be live. We should be live, ladies and gentlemen.
This is when we're live.
Yes. Let's rock it.
Come on, give us a bit of your dad dancing.
No. You have to pay for that. It's not free.
You know when you're you know when your wife says that you do dad dancing, you know you're in a certain category then. You know you're in a certain category.
I was only joking, mate, just to make you feel yourself.
Mrs. Demi has placed you well and truly in that box, mate.
No, not true. I'm a professional.
Everybody's getting quicker after your tip last week about the comments. Everybody's just pretty much just putting H.
Like it. What's going on, guys?
Everybody's getting strategic. Hi to Connor. Thanks for logging in, mate. Let's just enjoy Bella Ciao. Woo! Hey.
Everyone loves a bit of Bella Ciao. Gets you in the mood. You have to play this before you take a trade, mate.
I can't hear anything you're saying, mate. What was that?
I said you should play this song before you start trading. Gets you in the mood. Gets you pumped. Maybe a bit too.
This is reserved purely for the show, mate.
Don't want you overconfident.
And a bit of a wake-up call as well.
There's somebody very confident here, but we don't know who they are.
In what way?
Yo. You have to be quite confident to say yo.
Hey, Mr. Yo or Mrs. Yo, if you click on the StreamYard link so we can see who it is that said that.
Could be happy.
Very, very appreciated.
I'm going to guess.
Last 10 seconds, boo-boo. Last 10 seconds. Boom. Love that.
Do you know those orchestras? Do you actually? Do you think they actually had any value? You know, like I think I could do that job.
Wait, can you? Sorry, I wasn't really.
You know what they're called, orchestras, right? When they're listening to it and then just doing this. Not. I mean, they get paid a lot of money to do that job.
So aren't they called conductors?
That's the one. Are they conductors?
Or unless you're saying about something else, like
no, conductors. Yeah, conductors. Do you think they actually do anything useful apart from shaking their hands a little bit? I can't see how that's going to help anyone. But if you're sitting there playing an instrument or singing, I mean, what difference is it going to make if some idiot's shaking his hands around? Do you know what? The funny thing is, there's going to be a conductor on the show now, and they're going to be like,
if there is, please comment. Please comment. That would be amazing.
If there's any conductors here, I do apologize. I'm just joking.
No, he's not. No, don't try.
So you think they're very useful, do you?
Well, okay, so let's look at it this way. When you've got all these performers all performing, and then someone's got to kind of direct them and make sure they're all in sync.
How are they directing them? How do you even look up when you're playing an instrument, or you just look on your paper to make sure you've got the right notes?
Well, I think they would look up because they've already practiced it. The paper's there just to kind of track them along, right? Surely.
I don't know. Maybe somebody plays an instrument, they can tell us.
This is like
in the crowd.
This is like a question that should be on like a Christmas board game or something. It's very irrelevant, but quite thought-provoking at the same time.
Yeah, I've just never seen their value, but maybe somebody musical will tell us something different.
I mean, I've got to agree with Tony there. No, Andy, stick to what you know, bro.
No, I know a lot about conductors.
You didn't even know what they were called.
Tony must be musical then, for him to say that.
Must be. Darren checking in from Chester. Good to have you with us, my friend. Julie's in the house. Hey, Julie.
Does anyone play an instrument, guys? It'd be good to know. I never know.
And if anybody needs a conductor, Andy's available. Apparently,
I am. I can do that job, guys. No, I'll do it for free. I'm not going to charge you. Absolutely. It's good exercise as well.
Well,
Just
doesn't look like it'll get much of a workout, mate. So,
bus conductors.
good evening to everybody who's logged in. Let's get cracking with things. But housekeeping out of the way, the little competition we have, Slavomir, boom. First up. Good job. Good job. So if you're new to the show, you're a new member to the group, welcome. It's been a while since I've actually done like a bit of a semi-professional introduction at the beginning, so I feel like it's time. So I'm Gavin, the host. This is Andy. He's our pro trader. Maybe you've seen some of his trading videos. Maybe you haven't had a chance yet. This is maybe your first time checking in with us. So thank you for giving us your time. The whole point of this is to create opportunities where there previously weren't any around FX trading, and maybe just to expand your mind, and obviously to share it from a point of view of Andy and his 17-year trading career. Obviously, I'm the one that gets to pick his brains and kind of draw some information out of there. A bit more relevant than the conductor question, which hopefully it can only go up from there, really, guys.
I think it was a very relevant conversation to trading.
No pressure.
Look, we live and breathe trading all day long. I literally wake up and I've got cryptos in my head. So I think we can talk and I have no social life because I live in London. Nobody lets me out of the house. So.
You're costing me money. I knew it. I had alerts firing off just before the show, and I was like, I can't start this because we'll be late. You're costing me potentially money, and I'm gonna have to do what you did. I got woken up twice with alarms. I was like, do you know what? I'll just leave it on. Book maps running, and then alerts. And I was I got up. I looked at the screen, and I was just too tired. And I was like, I'm not.
It's a killer, mate. It's a killer. Like you can't. You just got to switch it off and just live with it. If it's gone off, it's gone off. Because the problem is as soon as I used to do it actually. Since we're talking, this is an FX show. I used to do it. On the Aussie dollar, 2:30 a.m. GDP retail sales, easiest money you can make for a long time. It was just such a easy, clean break. So anytime there was news at 2:30, I'd get up at 2. I'd literally line it up, place my breakout trade, and then catch the trade. But the problem is sometimes the market didn't move, so it was like a dead event. And then even if it did, the problem is that I couldn't sleep after. So I'd be like, I'd literally be dead for the day. So I'd missed the London session, and then it's completely messed up. So I stopped doing it. But it was a great. I mean, the commodity currencies, they're normally very clean moves when it comes to news. Versus like if you're trading news with like the euro or sterling, it tends to be very messy. Like it will spike and then spike down. So yeah, so any like the CAD, Oz, Kiwi, they tend to be really nice clean moves.
And are there any little trading hacks that are still going on like that one that you used to wake up for?
No, I haven't traded them for a while, but I would imagine it will be the same like now. It's just there's not so much gaming with those. It's like good number up and then a clean move. So like I haven't looked at it for a long time, but I wouldn't imagine that would be any different, to be honest. I mean, it's worth looking at since you're actually awake at that time and you live in Australia.
Yeah, there'll be a few of us here that are interested in having a look at that for sure. So this week's topic is quite an interesting one. So we're going to talk a little bit about wealth management, or well, obviously trading is one way of creating wealth, but it's okay for people that have created wealth, but how do you hold on to it? So if you can talk to us about your experiences from moving through the levels of trading up with experiences of money and how you manage that. When you get to a certain threshold, what have you done to kind of overcome that? And maybe like for example, a lot of us are making a lot of gains really quickly, but it's like, oh, I've got this amount now, and there's a little bit of, oh, I want to hold on to this, or I might do a bit less, or I might just kind of hold. How do you kind of push on through that and take it to the next level is the first question. And then if you can just give us some ideas on what you've learned around not just preserving wealth, because you know the saying, right? When you get to a certain level, and I've spoken to a few other people about this in different areas, they're like, I've got money, but now I'm scared of losing it and I don't know what to do with it. Do I just keep it safe, or what do I do with it? So if you can share, like you're nodding like Master Shifu, like in the movie Kung Fu Panda, and doing that little knowledgeable laugh.
I resonate with that. Absolutely.
So just give us, just share with us your experiences from the beginning, handling the leveling up, if you will, and then we can just go through it from there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's why, like, when you start with small accounts and you grow it, and you get really crazy returns, or even just really, especially like when you're, if you're using leverage and let's say you're putting a bit of risk on, or you're trading cryptocurrencies right now, which are exploding, for example. But whatever you're doing, let's say you get some big returns. The most common thing people do is they start calculating how much money they're going to make if they continue on the same path. That's like, most people do that. That I've come across. They're like, yeah, but if I do this, then by this day I'm going to have 15 million pounds or whatever, something stupid, crazy. But the reality is that, and I think I've said this before, as your account grows, you are very unlikely to maintain those returns. So that's why I say to people, sometimes people say to me, what's realistic as a realistic return in FX? And I kind of say, like, 5 to 10% with good risk management is very, very achievable. But that's on an account maybe up to like 100 grand, let's say. But if I'm trading 100 million, I'm not going to get those returns. Why? Because simply I'm not going to risk 10 million pounds a month on my account. That's just ludicrous, right? So you automatically reduce your risk, and therefore you make less. But in terms of like, so your question was like, how do you handle the increase? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah. So the first thing is when you get that.
Yeah.
It was a long question, but I just wanted to set you up for it. So I'm packing that down. The first question is, okay, so for people that are new to trading, they're finally starting to make some money, but they're feeling that resistance. They want to kind of hold on to it, but they want to carry on growing their account. So in your experience, like what have you done to kind of get over those hurdles and level up to the next phase of the game?
Well, you've got to firstly try and have a basic plan of where you sort of class as like a lot of money, like, and you getting there. So you're working towards that first goal. So that might be 100 grand, for example, or it might be less for some people. It might be getting to 50k or 20k is a lot of money, whatever that amount is. So your focus should be, okay, up to here, I'm just going to be completely focused on getting to that level. And that's where I class as a lot of money. Okay, so whatever that level is for you. I always find, in my head, what I think is a six figure is like, where people kind of get to. And then that's kind of like, okay, this is a hell of a lot of money now. So honestly, it's quite a simple answer. You can take more risk when you're trading smaller accounts to get to that level. But as soon as you kind of at that level, you've just got to scale back. And I like diversification if you're gonna, so you're not over reliant on one or two things. And I also like to reduce my position sizes and spread them across. So like if I'm so we're talking about investing / growing wealth, right? Not necessarily trading, but essentially like if you're trading, I would be simply looking to just reduce your risk on the trades because you're still making decent money. You don't need to risk so much, and just slowly grow it. So 100 can become 200, maybe not in 3 months, maybe it will take 16, 17 months or whatever, but you can do it slowly. And that's personally what I would do. So that if you have a goal of, let's say, having 1 million, for example, or whatever your goal is, it's not going to happen overnight. But the thing is, what you should be doing is making excess profits and then taking out some of the profits and investing them. So ideally, it's better if you have a second income, a business, a job where it will cover your expenses, and then your trading can just grow, so you don't have to keep withdrawing from it. And then I would just be taking profits out and then investing them in assets that can just grow on their own, and just slowly just put it into different pots, not have it too much, because when it's sitting in your account, it's at risk. So you don't want to have too much money in your trading account, especially with insurance.
Interesting. So what's that amount? Is that the FIDIC amount, or is that a different amount?
Well, if you're trading with an FCA regulated broker, then 85k would be the amount that you'd be covered for with no insurance. So you can get insurance up to 1 million, but to be quite honest with you, you don't really want to have that much money in the account, even with the insurance, because it's a process to get your money out. So it's not like, okay, yes, you'll get it back, almost certainly, but if nothing goes wrong. But the problem is that your money's tied up. So if you've put everything into your account that you own, then you're in trouble if something happens to the broker, and then you have no access to funds. You can't earn any money. So, and you don't need to. This is the thing. It's like, and I think, people don't. You can have more capital available, but you don't need to have it in your account. So you can just trade slightly bigger size. For that, just put the margin up, and obviously a little bit more, and just trade slightly bigger size. And then if you get to a certain, so if you're down by a certain amount, you just top it up, but you're clear that you're trading more capital. So the only downside to that is the psychology of it, which I struggled with at the beginning, but now I'm absolutely, I've got no issue with it at all.
Okay, so we're at that point. And if you're a regular on here, we like to jump into the world of the psychology and all of that interesting stuff. So we're there. We've got to that part in this question. So when you say the psychology, break that down for us, what you mean. At what point did that start kicking in for you, and how did you overcome that?
Yeah, so the psychology problem is, if, for example, you have 10 grand and you only want to put 1,000 into the account, for example. So 10 grand, you're risking, let's say, £100 a trade. So 1%, right? So you're risking £100 a trade. Now, if you lost £100 on 10 grand, your account is 9,990. Barely looks like any blip at all. Whereas if you lose it on 1,000, psychologically, that's getting a bit closer to zero. So it's 900, and then you lose another one, it's 800, and you lose another one, it's 700. So now I've got £700 left, and you're obviously thinking about, the negative aspect of it is, damn, I'm going to have to top it up. And I always used to find that experience quite a negative experience, to have to go top up the account, almost as if almost like you've blown it psychologically, even though you haven't. So by not having all your capital up there, that's what I'm referring to by the psychology. Does that make sense?
Yeah, let us know in the comment section, guys. And if you've got any questions around this, then we'll check in with the questions. But yeah, it's making good sense. So how would you overcome that psychologically then? Because obviously, overall, that's been your choice. You've got more money to put in, but you're just choosing to play with the margin, basically. But I hear what you're saying, because then it's like, well, I've only got 10 trades. If I blow out on 10, which would be highly unlikely, but it could happen still. It's still a possibility. So then when you have to top up your account, it's like, oh, this is kind of a negative experience then, right? Whereas how did you turn that around in your mind?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know. Like, I remember feeling it. I think it probably is just like with maturity, growth, like confidence, less affected by. I guess I've become very good at overpowering those thoughts that come into my, like, overriding those thoughts that come into my mind. So, I kind of said it the other day when I went for a run when I didn't feel like it, and I did the same tonight, to be honest, because I was feeling tired, and I just thought, oh, I'm gonna have a little rest, but then I just thought, no, you're gonna do something impactful so that you're on it and you're switched on. So went for a run. I took my vitamin B12 spray. I had a proper vegan, full of nutrition protein shake, and I powered myself up, and I feel like a million times better. But if you'd seen me half an hour before, I was like a zombie. So it's like, how did I overcome it? I just said, that's what I'm doing, because I need to be that for these people. Like, and that's my commitment, to not just turn up, but to turn up as the best version of myself. And I guess it's the same with trading. It's like, I've just learned to deal with any negative feelings that come up. So you have a negative experience. Some people have been posting in the group like, oh, I missed my trade by pip or cent or whatever. And it is frustrating, super frustrating when that happens. But over time, you just get better at just being absolutely okay with it, like really okay with it. Just, okay, let's handle this. So something's gone wrong. It will keep going wrong at some point. Like, if you're in the markets long enough, you'll mess something up. And it'll happen to me. It happens to me, especially whilst I was trying to learn Binance. But
yeah,
I've made plenty of mistakes. Trust me, costly ones. But the point is that the initial reaction was like, what have I done? And then immediately, it's like, I can't even explain it to you. Then almost within the same thought process, my mind's like solving a solution. Now it's just in solution mode. It's like it just switches. So it's like, problem immediately is gone in my head. It's like, now I'm solving it, because I can't take that. I cannot recover that problem. Like, I've missed the trade. I've messed it up. Whatever I've done, I have to immediately just go into correction mode. And that's probably the number one thing that you can develop that will really, really help you enormously in life and in trading, like dealing with setback. That's what I really enjoyed. I don't know if you guys have watched it. If you haven't, Undercover Billionaire, I recommended it in the group. You should
awesome.
really watch it. It's really, really awesome. I've watched the whole lot, actually.
Have you?
I just watch a little episode every time in the evening. And I've watched it all now to the end. And I love it because it's how he deals with the adversity. That's the power. It's like all this, it's like you overcome this, and then this problem's come up, but it's just like, let's just push on. Let's just crack on. Let's just push on. And he's a billionaire. So he's obviously doing something right. So, and it's like, well, that's the mindset. That really is the mindset. It's just deal with the problem. So it comes up, let's deal with it. So that's something that I really kind of recommend people just keep. So whenever you come across a problem, how quickly, test yourself, how quickly can you just switch into solution mode, get over it, and really focus on fixing it? How quick can you do it? Or maybe people can type out, let us know, how fast are you dealing with it now? Would you say you're good at that, slow, fast, can be improved? Let us know.
Interesting. I would say, so yeah, Paul, thanks for tuning in. He's saying, yeah, that makes sense. He's been there, so he fully understands. Tony, that's what happened to him on Monday. So interesting. It's obviously something that people are looking and feeling and experiencing. Adrian, learn about yourself. This is correct. Good to have you here, Adrian.
Yes, Adrian.
and Michael's watched all of the shows, or all of the episodes. So just in case, we won't spoil it for you, but it's a self-made billionaire in America, and he agrees to take on a challenge where they will put him anywhere in America. He doesn't know where. He can't use his phone full of his contacts. He has to start from scratch. So he doesn't know anyone or anything, and he's got to make $1 million business in 90 days, or he forfeits $1 million of his own cash. So that's the basic outline of the show, and then it charts him basically turning up at some remote town in America, and he's got $100 in his pocket and a battered old van, and he ends up sleeping in the van for the first couple of nights.
Does,
really good, guys, to show you adversity, overcoming adversity, but he has got something that is really important, and that's his self-belief, right? He knows, but even that gets tested, and this is the point. Even that guy, in his world, he's in a new world now. He had to recalibrate. And I think it's being able to recalibrate. Like, I know what you're saying. Like, for me this week, there's definitely voices that are going on in your head, and you just have to detach and go, well, that's my mind. And it's an interesting situation where you're sat in front of the screen and the trade's going up or down, and then you're catching your mind speaking, and then you're like, hang on a minute, this isn't me, this is just my mind. But as soon as you catch on to those thoughts and react to them, it's a vicious game. And trading is definitely like the cutting edge of, if you want to get to know yourself and understand how your mind's working and what limiting beliefs you've got, sit in front of a screen whilst you're trading.
Do you know what? Be conscious of your reactions. So try and maybe put a little post-it note and start measuring how well you're reacting to stuff. So almost say like, okay, what are your sort of Achilles heels? Like, what is it in the market that sometimes pulls you in the wrong path? What happens? What happens to you? And maybe write that down somewhere and have it in front of you, and then kind of monitor when that situation comes up and how you're reacting, and then practice reacting differently. So right, okay, what should I be doing? So like, if for example, let's say you've been staring at a currency pair, looking for the perfect trade, and it goes to the perfect entry, but you weren't in front of your screen, and you've missed it. What do you normally do? Do you just jump in? Does it negatively affect you? Do you FOMO in? And if you do, or if you turn on your screens or whatever, like, especially if you're day trading, what are the sort of habits that are not conducive to successful trading that you're doing? Get aware of them, be consciously aware of them, and write them down. And then focus on improving one thing about your negative, because you can't do everything in one go. So like, if you have one of the things that really impacts you, just keep practicing reacting better every time it happens. So you miss a trade and it's running away. What do you normally do? You jump in. Okay, so that's what you normally do. Then write down what you should be doing. What should you be doing? You should take a deep breath. It's just numbers. You're not going to let the market affect you. Sit down, pre-plan, go back, look at the chart, and start planning for your next setup. Start planning for when the pullback happens. Start looking at something else. So whatever the way you want to react is really, really important, that you just keep practicing that, and then slowly, just become a habit. It's like, oh, that's happened again. I'm used to this. And it's like, I've missed a trade. That's fine. It's going away. No problem. We'll catch on the way. And you just get used to it. You get used to the feeling of like, that's another missed trade. It's not a problem. Whereas if you just like keep saying it, it's like, oh, crying out loud, I've missed a trade. I've lost out on all this money. And that just makes it worse. And then you never grow from it.
Mm. Wise words, Mr. Demi. So we've covered that area on the way up. So let's role play here, where you've had the experience where you've built yourself up to a certain level, and then you started to have money and you started to have energy. And then how, obviously we can't go into this all in one in one show, but it would just be great to get like a little snippet from your point of view. I always like speaking to people that have had money, they've been able to keep money, but they've been able to grow their money, which is it's an important skill, but it's not one that really we're freely taught. So I know that there would have been some lessons along the way for you. So if you can just give us a top line of like, okay, when you got to that level, right, you're making money from trading, at what stage, how would you decide to diversify? Is it just the common routes? Or what kind of decisions and thought processes go through your mind once you get to that stage where you're consistently making money from the markets?
Do you know what? I think it depends on what stage of life you are as well. Because if you talk to the Andy Demi in the hedge fund at 23, 24, he's only talking about just relentless, let's make as much money as we can and just keep building as much wealth as we can. It's like that kind of approach where you're just giving up all your time, you're hungry for it. This is all your life is. But then there's a different stage of your life where that isn't really the most important thing. So you get to a point where you say, well, this is what I need to be. This is what I need for my lifestyle. And you're clear about that. So you just don't take excessive risks. Like you don't put all your money on. Like sometimes people say to me, you know, I don't trade all of my money. Like, and sometimes a question might be, well, why don't you put more money into the account? Because I don't need to. I don't want to. Like, I don't want to be trading those big accounts. You know, I don't want to be trading millions of pounds and managing other people's money and having all those responsibilities. Yes, I'd make more money potentially, but with it comes responsibilities, pressures, and those are costs. And I'm not, at 23, I was willing to pay that cost 1,000,000 times over. Now I'm not willing to pay it. Like I want to make enough to just, you know, get all the things that I want. And that's really what it's about for me. So I think it just depends on your stage of life. In terms of growing I'll tell you that this is important. You want to make more money and you want to be comfortable at different levels. It's really simple. People might even know what I'm about to say. Surround yourself with people that are making way more money than you. And sometimes, guys, I'm going to tell you this, you're not going to necessarily like it. Sometimes you've got to pay to hang around those people, especially when you're trying to get there. They're not going to freely spend their time with you. And I did, and I still do. You know that, Gavin. I still get mentoring now. I still pay significant amounts of money, not necessarily in trading, but I want to be surrounded by people that know more than me, that have made more than me, or have something better than me. Maybe it's they're more spiritual, so they're better than me in that area, or maybe they've got more wealth, or maybe they've got more peace, whatever it is. If they're not my friends and I'm not hanging around them, and the only way I can access that person and I know he's going to help me grow or she's going to help me grow, I'll pay the money to be with them. It's really, and that's kind of like, but you've got to do it in stages. Like if you've got £500 in your account, you're not going to go and get a loan out and spend 10 grand to hang around with a multimillionaire, right? You do it in stages. However, you can be smart. You can be in groups. You can like the group that we're creating now. Like in our group, not everybody's necessarily, you know, wealthy in that area, but what we have created in that group is like-mindedness, like positivity, and that's really important. So that's kind of the first stage. And then once you've kind of overcome that stage of like, okay, now I'm making money, then there'll be people that can take you at different levels. So it's really, really important that who you listen to, who you hang around with, who your network is. You know, you want people with a growth mindset, even if they are not there yet. That's the best way I can put it. You want people with a growth mindset, even if they are not there yet in their bank accounts. It doesn't matter, like, because the way they're talking, the way they're acting, is everything. That's an energy, and it can be positive or negative. And that's why when I see spam in our group, immediately within a minute I want it deleted, because that is an energy that is sucking people's attention away from where it needs to be. And I can't stress the importance of energy. It's everything. So that's how you do it. It's really that it's not difficult, because like when you have those people around you, they just think differently. Like, and I sense it sometimes, like, you know, my mentor will say something to me and I'm like, Jesus, where did that come from? Like, you know, it's just what people, so nobody else would say it to me, basically, but they would say something to me that would have an impact on me, and I start thinking about it. And it's something that can be one thing, but it can have a ripple effect into your life, and it can have a massive impact.
They say the best teachers aren't the ones that try and change you, but they let you see the changes that you need to make in yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Leaders.
And they give you the space to do that, but the only real leaders can be the ones that can lead themselves from where they are. Really interesting, and I love what you shared about. So thank you for sharing this, by the way. And obviously we take it. Some weeks we're a bit more higher energy and laughing and joking, but this is a serious matter, and it's good that we can take it in different levels. And hopefully you're enjoying the show this week, guys, with this type of content. One way that you can, so Con is just typed this in. I was just about to say this. What if you have no one around you? That's a great question. So the first thing that you can do is like what Andy shared. You can model from other people's experiences. So, for example, the undercover billionaire.
Yes.
See what he goes through. Apply. It's not just watching it for binge watching to take your mind away from things. Be fully present and conscious in it, and imagine if you were him. What would you do differently? How would you do it? Or, oh, I wouldn't react like that. That's interesting. Like I started trying to pick little things up from him that way, which, yeah, is something that's quite interesting. So it's great that you shared that. And if anybody's got any other ones like that, then please share.
Yeah, absolutely. And like motivational videos, like you can listen to motivational speeches on YouTube as much as you want. People that have achieved stuff from nothing. Like you said there, films, videos, Sab saying as well. Those are great ways to connect with someone. You don't have to speak to them, but you can kind of resonate with what they're saying. And be careful what you watch. Like, you know, I highly recommend you avoid watching trash on TV. Like, if you can avoid it as much as possible.
There is, but someone actually guided me. I wouldn't watch certain things, and they were like, actually, if you open up and you can sit with it and accept it and not be in judgment of it, then it can actually be a really powerful tool. And I was like, wow, okay. And he challenged me to start watching some things, and it's actually opened me up to be less affected by certain things, which has been a really great gift. Thank you for the comments that are coming in. Slavomir, thank you for this. This show is always something to enjoy and grab positive energy from the both of you. Obviously, that's the most important thing that we want to achieve there. So thank you for that. We appreciate that a lot. So just to tie this conversation off, so we've spoken about things to overcome on your way there. We've spoken about things with regards to how to start building from when you're there. What are just some of the snippets of, okay, what's the typical routes that people go to when they've got excess energy, which in this case, excess energy could be love. Excess energy could be a relationship. Excess energy could be money. So in this case, it's money as the energy flow. When you've got an excess of it, what are the top 3 routes that you've experienced where you would diversify and park your money, or not just park your money, but make it work for you?
So you mean like if you've got money that outside of trading, like where would I put it? Is that what you're asking?
Where have you put it? And you don't have to say like all of it in case man's watching, but
mostly I guess, like, you know, if you're going to put it into sort of safer investments, for me it's like property, gold, and I have invested in shares as well in the past. Although I can't help myself with that. Like I am a little bit more active with shares. Like I will kind of close them when I think the cycle's ended and things like that. Whereas I guess they say just leave them in there for all the cycles and you'll make money, which is I guess it's the right thing to do. But like, I guess because I've got knowledge, it's hard for me just to leave it when I think the cycle's ended. But, you know, I came out of the S&P, I had like a selection of S&P stocks. I came out about a year ago thinking the cycle had ended, and it's continued to go up. So it's not always the wisest thing to come out. But in general, I believe, like, you know, property is the one, and business. I'd love to run a few businesses at some point. Like obviously we've got London Trading Institute, but I kind of don't see that as I mean, it is a business, but I don't see it that way. Like I'd love to do, like, almost that the show really inspired me. I'd love to do something. I'm not sure in what area, but another business. I think it'd be really cool. Start something, maybe a brand, coffee shop. Not sure, but that interests me. I think that would be great. But yeah, and I think that's the thing. I enjoy stuff. I enjoy growing. I enjoy learning and challenging myself. I guess that's why that guy is taken that challenge, right? He's a billionaire, doesn't need to work, and his family doesn't need to work, and probably their kids don't need to work. But you know, billions are a lot. So, but yet he's still willing to give up that life for 3 months and sleep in his trunk in his truck. So I think people.
Sorry, mate. I'll be honest. Part of me was like, did he really do that, or was that just like 10 minutes for the cameras? And then he was like, right, cut, guys. Where's my 5-star hotel? I'm off.
I believe he did. I think I think to get the emotion, the emotional roller coaster that you got, I think you have to go through the whole experience. And I think if you don't, then you don't really grow. That's the thing with anything. We kind of don't want bad experiences, but they teach us a lot. Like when I've made mistakes in trading, they've helped me be a much better trader. And I don't want those mistakes. I don't want to lose money, or I don't want to miss out on a trade, or you know, anything else, or I don't want to have experience blowing up an account. But all those experiences have made me a much better trader, because I take them and they're just a muscle, because I say, well, I think like, well, I understand now I understand what that feeling is, and I can handle it, and I'm fine. So I know I don't want that feeling again, but I will be fine, whatever happens. Like, and I think it's just,
In your personal experience, and this is really interesting, they say that if you look back at anybody who's had really great successes, you can pinpoint when their catastrophes or nuclear bombs in their life went off, and they've had like exponential growth from those points. If it hasn't broken them, then it's made them. Without going into too much detail, but just in your experience, can you confirm or deny that statement as
100%? Like, I don't say this in I just don't think, like, I can never accept something. Nothing will take me off my path, like no matter what happens. But that's the thing that when I'm at the lowest point, when I have to deal with a setback, that's what normally pushes me to really dig deep, and it helps me grow. And I think it's the same for most people. You either give up or you fight harder than ever. And for me, there's no choice. It's like, I cannot be the other person. It's just not me. I have to fight.
But it's interesting, because what you're saying is fight. It may just be to actually accept that that's not the path. And then instead of being like, oh, well, I think it's this way, And then as soon as you release from that, it's like, oh, okay, so you wanted me to go this way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, this is another show because like this literally could be, we could debate this all day long, because I know people are into the whole things that you're talking about, letting go and visualizing and all those kind of things. And there's definitely a place for those things. But sometimes I kind of go into groups and I just like to see what people post. And honestly, sometimes I just think, what a load of garbage. Like if you go to the Secret group, for example, and I love The Secret, I've read the book, I believe in, visualizing your path and everything else, but nothing's going to happen, guys, if you don't take any action. Like they're posting pictures in the group and they're saying $10,000 is coming to you tomorrow, and then you've got 50,000 comments saying yes it is. Like, sorry guys, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
For crying out loud.
Yeah, and they a lot.
Seriously.
There's a couple of people that are coming out now, and they're kind of like proving how that was actually another way by whoever group you want to call them, but that was actually just another misdirection. Because like you say, it creates people to say, oh yeah, I'm going to sit on a rock and just wait. I'm going to think that $10,000 is coming to me.
Frosty's like, damn it. Yeah, sorry, mate.
It's all right. Yeah, we kept you engaged for longer this week before you diverted to the comments, mate. It was I think that's a record. That's a record, 47 minutes. But yeah, people are coming in with the comments, which is pretty cool. FX Crypto Fight Club. I like it.
Like that.
Business ideas. Put them on the back of a postcard and send them in to us. Roy's up for the coffee shop, and Frosty has put Demi bucks. That could be a cryptocurrency all by itself.
I like that. But I've got to say, FX Crypto Fight Club, that really resonates with me for some reason.
I don't know if you're yeah. That would be quite interesting. So look, that's the main content of the show. And if you're interested in the professional trade setup of the week, then we're going to go into that now.
Are we going to take in a request? Or
we have taken a request. So I had a look, and basically the comment that came in was for Swiss yen.
Swiss yen, okay.
Let's see what you can come up with there.
All right, we'll have a look. Swiss yen, interesting choice. Let me see if I can find it. Have I even got it? I don't know. Why is Swiss yen not showing up? Weird. I'll show you my screen. Honestly, it's not showing up as a Swiss yen. Hold on. So, why is... I've got Axie, right? Swiss yen should be on there, right? Can you see Swiss yen?
I can't see anything on that screen.
It's not there. Got CAD yen.
Can you do a search for it?
Show all. Is there a second choice? Don't see it. It's a bit strange, but no, you can't really search for it. No, it's not in these either.
Anybody got just so that we keep it consistent with putting him on the spot? Anybody? The first comment that comes in, we'll go for that pair. So if you want to put,
it's there, mate. It is there.
Oh, you've got it.
Well, it's there, but I can't see it. Look, where is it? Can anyone see Swiss yen? No, it's not there, right? It's not showing up. I've selected it.
So it's coming up blurry for some people, Joanna. If you maximize the screen, you should be able to see it in full resolution.
Bizarre. It's supposedly showing, but yeah, we'll have to select. I don't know why, but it's just not showing up there. CAD yen, nope. See, we have got Swiss. No.
Okay, so Neil was the first one to comment.
Oh,
cable.
it's there. I found it.
Oh, you get
Yeah. What are we doing now?
it? All right, well, we'll go with the original one then. Now you found it.
Sorry. Okay, found it.
Take your time, sweetheart. Take your time. That's why we should have it prepared next time. No, I this proves that it's on the fly, guys, and that's how we want to do it, to show you that you can just look at any crypto pair. And actually, just while Andy's setting that up, if you're totally brand new to FX trading, I'll post a link to a webinar that we did breaking down what Andy's learned from his hedge fund days. You'll get a ton of value in that. If you're already on the program, you don't need to go on that. But if you're totally new to the group and you want to find out more about who is this guy, why can you trust him, and what's his background, then go to the link that I'll post after the show. And yeah, we spend quite a lot of time in there because we wanted to give you a lot of information. So maybe watch it in 2 stages, and it'll be a great way to kind of spend your time picking up some valuable things along the way about trading. Okay, so are we good to go, Mr.?
Yep, let's go. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, let's have a look to here. So right, so there's a bit of, this looks like a bit of resistance, and we have a channel here. Okay, and we'll see what that looks like there. Okay, so straight away what we can see is that, you know, that this market hasn't broken this resistance level since 2016, so 5 years. And what have we done? We've basically come up to this resistance area. We've had a big rejection weekly bar, and the market has pushed down. Let's get the pen up. And what I normally do is I would normally check to see where the pullback is. The 618 is also quite prominent, and we've gone just above the 618 there. So, and so far the weekly's rejected. So straight away, for me, I mean, this is it's getting squeezed here. So right now, what kind of opportunities can you trade? Well, until the market kind of shows, I mean, is it going to break a 5-year resistance? I'm always very cautious. If it breaks, because often if you're not aware, you know, that a currency will tend to stay in a range for many years, and it's unlikely, unless something fundamental changes, that it's going to break that range, especially when 2 economies are basically, you know, doing business together, because it impacts the import and export prices. So it's unlikely that it's going to break easily. So even if I saw a close above, I'd still be very cautious. So in terms of opportunity right now, the context of this is, well, it's decision time, it's crunch time, and right now this market is basically ranging. So we need to kind of look for zones that might give us a little bit of profit. And right now, since we've kind of hit this resistance point, I'd be kind of thinking that maybe we might get, you know, we might get at least a little push down. So it'll be easier to kind of go to the lower time frames and have a look to see what we can see, and hopefully come up with something interesting to take. So let's go. Hopefully we'll find this Swiss yen again. I'm going to open up. Oh, it's all the way to the bottom for some reason. I don't know why. Okay. So I'll just have a look at the daily as well. We can put in our daily levels. Let me just see. I like to sometimes just put them on and then take them off, just to kind of get an idea of what's going on here. Okay, perfect. So that looks like the day there. So almost like, again, kind of what I was saying, that maybe if it closes like that, we should be kind of looking for, are we going to go back down and maybe test this again? So let's go. That's all I need to really see here. I'm just going to, hold on, delete. I don't like to have my charts messy, but it's just useful just to quickly see where the major levels are, and then I would normally just take them off. I can see where the delete button is. Okay, so let's have a quick look. All right, I like to always just really study price. I like to see if there's any patterns that I can see. I mean, one thing that's quite clear, guys, is that you can kind of see that the market's kind of getting a little bit squeezed here, which normally leads to, that's normally bearish. So if you kind of look at the way, we just study the way the market's been moving, like it's like, see how the swings here are just sort of tightening up. So it's almost like something's got to give. It could be something like that. So let me move over to a lower time frame. Right, let's go. So we'll go, should we go hour or should we go 4? Let's have a look at the 4. Okay. Yeah. So okay. So I think here, so if we kind of look at this little channel and match and just kind of figure out what's been going on here. You're kind of looking at really for this channel to break before you can start to sell it. So you could either get a break, push up, and then down. That's kind of what I'd be inclined to look for. If you want an early short, you could draw your fibs here and look for when this low gets created, look for the 618. So right now, 618 is the best pullback zone, and just see if it's a level as well. So I quite like that. So that's there. 171.82 looks quite interesting at the moment. So it's about there. I quite like it because we've had some reaction recently as well around that area. That was quite close, and even here, these ones are quite close, not just sort of rejecting around there and rejecting around there. So I'd kind of keep it. So if you want an early kind of potential short, the safer one is let the channel break and then go something like that. Let's look at the 1 hour as well, guys, and see if we can spot anything new on the hour as well. Hope this is making sense. Who requested this one?
It was Con, I believe.
Okay, be good to hopefully it makes sense. Or it matches what he was thinking. I would yeah, I mean, I would be looking at this stage. I'd kind of really be looking for the short side only. Yeah, I mean, on the hourly, you've kind of had a break, haven't you? So we'll see if that kind of how that plays out. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think what you can do is tomorrow you can kind of either I wouldn't take anything right now on this trade, but based on if we just quickly go back to what we did over here, so you've got a weekly that's basically hitting a sort of a 5-6 year resistance, rejection, retest, and so far rejection. We go to the daily. Price action getting squeezed. We're actually on a strong daily level here. So again, that's quite bearish. We've had a good strong push down. We may get a pullback. 117.82 looks interesting. You can check out what the DTR is for tomorrow to see if that matches up with any of this. This one on the hourly has broken this channel here. So I don't know if that's going to be a fake out. This is not the right time to trade this right now. So I'd almost be inclined to say any rallies towards the DTR are shortable. And remember, this market is quite rangy. So you could also add in the stochastic if you want to add in an indicator to help you out. I'd recommend the stochastic oscillator. I mean, normally people do, let's have a look to see how effective the 5 is. Normally people do 14. Yeah, that's not too bad. So I'm just having a little. So what you could do is a little setup could be if this market rallies, put the DTR on, guys, work out what the expected high is for tomorrow. Have in mind 117.80 as a that is the 618, and then look for the stochastic to be overbought here at the same time. So if we're kind of like this, DTR's there, we're around 618, and the stochastic is overbought, you can definitely look to sell it. And if you just want a nice easy short, just target the bottom of this channel. So you could just do a short-term trade. It's Friday tomorrow. I wouldn't want to hold this over the weekend. So yeah, that's all I've got. I hope that helps.
Boom. And that is how the pros do it. Awesome.
No worries.
Really good, mate. Really good.
We came up with something. That's a
We
play.
did. And if you can make coffee as good as you can do trading, then I'm in. Let's do this coffee business, mate.
Have you had a coffee?
No, but if you can make coffee as good as you broke down that trade.
Do you know what? I actually made a great coconut flat white the other day. I was very happy with myself. Yeah, first time I actually thought, this tastes like a bit like Costa's one.
Wow.
I know. I'm getting better.
Next product, mate. Could be the next product.
Yeah. That's it. When we find some time, mate, we'll set it up. You do the branding.
Quite a few exciting things in the pipeline, guys. We can't wait to share some more things with you. So I'm glad that's been giving you value. Daryl, thanks for joining. Awesome. Gareth, good to have you with us, mate. Great show tonight, guys. Thank you so much. Awesome. Great stuff. We leave people as happy campers.
Excellent.
Thanks to Brucey for tuning in as well. Thanks, guys. Love you all. So, guys, have an amazing rest of your evening. Hope you get to do something nice this weekend for yourselves or with your family, and have a great time. And we will be back next Tuesday night with Crypto Like a Pro, so like the crypto version of this show. And for anybody else that's in the private groups, we've got a 3-hour masterclass. So what Andy's just done in 15 minutes, he's doing for 3 whole hours, and he always goes overboard. Yeah,
we did 3.5 hours last week.
Yeah, so it'll be 2 weeks. Yeah, it was. So 3.5 hours of that on cryptos, guys. There's still spaces if you want to come on the crypto program. Reach out if you haven't already. We've had about 5 or 6 new signups this week, so that's what you've got to look forward to, guys. It's gonna be freaking awesome. So, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Gary was one of the guys that I was referring to that's just signed up for the crypto show. Gary, what he's just done in 15 minutes on the Swissy yen is what he's going to be doing for cryptos for 3.5 hours. You have got yourself a trading treat, my friend, along with all the other students. Yes, Daryl's going to be there as well. Awesome. Fantastic. So is there a show tomorrow night? Crikey, Frosty. Yeah, we're...
If you're running it, mate, yeah.
Yeah, feel free, mate. Not by us. Not by us, but
no.
Nice try, mate.
We could put some teddy bears and just go live. Just put them on the chair.
It could be more. You know what? The teddy bears, how we felt before the show, the teddy bears would have probably been a safer bet, but we pulled it out of the bag again.
We did, mate. We did.
We pulled it out of the bag again. And if this was your first show, don't be shy, guys. It's great to see the new members that are joining. We know you're out there. Thank you. Haven't recognized your name before. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that.
I knew it. I was just thinking.
I knew you were going to throw me under. You were going to throw me under the boat. So I was like, I'm going to jump in before he does it.
But you could have called him Mr. Growth. You see? You have to think outside the box, mate. I've got a lot to teach you.
You got me there. You really did get me there. But thank you for tuning in. It's great to see new names. So with that being said, we are done for another week. If that was your first Crypto Like a Show, Pips Like a Pro show experience, then just put a comment in the comment section, because it helps us get more out to more people in the private group. And also Facebook gives us juice for the algorithm, which I haven't done a push for a while. So if you could do that for us, that's the only form of payment that we like. Other than that, guys, have a great one.
You caught me out. Thank you, guys. Pleasure to be here as always.
You're just trying to keep us on. You're trying to keep us here.
Who is
Andy,
it?
in 10 seconds, 10-second elevator pitch. Well,
yeah,
actually,
we've added a beginner's section, so like to cover the basics that you need to know. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah, Frosty's
It's
just
hard. You've got to work though. You've got to put some work in.
Yeah, there's people on it with no FX experience already making money. That's true, but you do have to put the work in. But it's definitely very possible, and you get recordings as well, so you get to rewatch it. So yeah, reach out to one of us if you want to have a chat. But Frosty nailed it there. Right, guys, we are done. It's not coming yet.
Have a good evening, everybody.